Hey guys, it's me Amelia. So I've just finished year 12 and I thought it was the perfect time for me to share some things that I wish I knew last year before I started sixth form. So let's get into it. Okay, so the very first thing on my list that I think is so important for every year 11 to hear right now, no matter if it's the beginning of summer, the middle of summer, the end of summer, please do not panic. Last year around this time, I spent a lot of time thinking about what would happen after that summer. I was coming up with the most random scenarios, like, oh, what would happen if I didn't get the grades to go to sixth form? Or I was thinking about things that were just completely out there. That is not good for anyone. So please just enjoy the summer, because this is the first summer that you guys have had in a really long time to just not do anything. A nice break from work, and I think looking back I would have definitely had just not worried about my grades, because as long as you put in the effort and you revised, you're going to do completely fine. So please do not panic, do not worry about what's going to happen in September, just think about now, the present. So the second thing on my list is about choosing your subjects. So I strongly recommend choosing subjects that you like or you think you're going to enjoy. I know many people say choose your subjects based on what you want to do at university or what you want to do as a career. And yes, I'm not saying this is an important factor. Of course, you should choose something that you think you're going to do in the future. But I think at this point in time, it's not as important. I'm going to be completely honest. Us as teenagers, or at least me, I'm quite indecisive, and I think definitely what I wanted to do last year is very different to what I want to do now. And I think because I've chosen subjects that I like, it's kind of going to align with what I want to do with my future. I think as long as you enjoy what you're doing, that's the most important thing. Then also, this brings me on to my next point. This is more to worry about in September when you go back to school and you are actually doing your classes and sort of getting used to sixth form life. Definitely research your course. When I say research, I mean go through your specification, researching what's required of you and what you're going to be doing across these 2 years. One, so that you can sort of think to yourself, oh, can I commit to this for 2 years? And if your answer is no, then this gives you the opportunity quite early on to be like, oh, maybe I should switch subjects. And there's nothing wrong when you've switched a subject but you preferred what you were doing before to just go back to it, because it's better to decide now in September and make that mistake than down the line thinking to yourself, I should have never picked this for A-levels. Thankfully that hasn't happened to me. Research your course early on, you'd be able to sort of decide, oh, okay, is this for me? No. Yes. Great. So my third piece of advice is all about the transition. Those 2 words. So, okay, I don't know about other people, but last year when I spoke to a lot of people who had done sixth form about the transition from GCSEs to A-levels, so many people told me that it's going to be this big jump, kind of scared me a bit and said, like, you know, you need to be prepared, you need to spend your summer revising. And not to say you shouldn't revise this summer, but I don't think it's as important because you'll sort of go through this in September. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I haven't seen much of a jump between A-levels and GCSEs, but that's because I think the jump's been more gradual. When I sit down and I think about what I was doing last year, there's definitely an increased workload, but it definitely didn't come immediately. I guess this will vary depending on the subjects you do, but I'd say overall that from year 11 to year 12 there's not much of a jump. I think the biggest jump is about to come, or most people say the biggest jump's coming from year 12 to year 13, so I'll update you if that's true. But from what I can see, I wouldn't say there's much of a jump from GCSEs to A-levels immediately, but definitely gradually there's been a big difference in the work I do. But then on a different note, you also have study periods, which I'll talk about in a bit, to kind of do your work. So you sort of have more time to do your work, if that makes sense. So the fourth thing on my list, friendships, everything social. So my biggest piece of advice is please do not be me. Do not overthink it. So I'm like the biggest overthinker ever. So I feel like when I started sixth form, I was a little scared to talk to people, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you are scared, but I do definitely recommend putting yourself outside your comfort zone and kind of going to sit next to people in your studies. And obviously don't like make sixth form all about gossiping, because that's not what you're there for. But I definitely recommend trying to put yourself out there, or being like at ease about getting friends, because once you kind of stop overthinking, friends will naturally like come to you. I don't know if that makes any sense.
2,000 years later.
But I think the minute I stopped overthinking, that's when I started getting some friends. And I think as well with sixth form, I'd say that definitely because my class sizes are smaller, I like socialise with more people. And I think once you're open to that, then it kind of becomes easier to make friends. Okay guys, so the very last thing I want to talk about are study periods. If you don't know what a study period is, it's basically just an hour where you don't have any of your actual A-level subjects to just revise or do whatever you want pretty much. So I 100% recommend to people use your study periods productively. I know, coming off from the friend point, that study periods are a really good way to socialise and meet new people. But I think as well it's important to remember that you actually need to be productive, or that you can save so much time for doing something in your study period instead of coming home and doing it. Guys, I cannot express how much more productive I am at school because of my study periods, because I do it then, I do my work, or I can do my homework then, instead of doing it when I get home when I'm like really tired from school. I think as well what's good is having friends that motivate you to study. So with my friends, we sort of have a mutual understanding that like, oh, you know, if we finished our work then it's okay to talk and maybe do something else. But if we all have work to do, there's sort of a mutual understanding, okay, we need to crack on with our work, and we can all work individually while motivating each other. And I think it's good when you have friends like that. And I think if you go to sixth form, you will kind of find that if you hang around with a good circle of people. Oh, it's a really key thing about study periods. I highly recommend planning the night before what you are going to do in your study period, so that when you get there you're not just wasting like half an hour. That's how I find I use my study periods more productively, is by planning what I need to do and when I'm going to do it throughout my day. I also want to quickly mention my favourite sixth form tool ever. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't think I'm describing A-levels without this. ChatGPT. Now I know this is a controversial one and people have very split opinions on it, but I love ChatGPT.
2,000 years later.
Like, it's, if you don't know what ChatGPT is, maybe living under a rock. It's basically just this AI tool where you can type in anything and it gives you like answers for it. I think definitely don't use AI to do your work, that's what I'm saying, but I think it's a very helpful revision tool and like planning tool. So that's mainly what I use AI for. Okay guys, so that's pretty much all my tips for year 12. Really good luck to all the people in year 11 who are awaiting their GCSE results or are about to start sixth form. You're going to do great. And guys, comment down below if you'd be interested in me doing a video, maybe more based on the specific A-level subjects I do. If you all enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you guys get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much. Bye!